Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Petrichor. So, I couldn't quite place what this expression was at the end of the last episode, but now, having read the rules for the Cows expansion, I've figured it out. This right here is the face of someone who is wondering, with a gleeful malice, if everyone else can smell that. It turns out this expansion is very much about methane. The cows are they're constantly outputting, and their output is going to have some effects, which are going to then have some effects. So, one thing that I should get out of the way right up front here is that some of you probably noticed that I wasn't setting up a cloud for me at the beginning of the last couple of games, and you might be asking, was that a mistake, SB? Are you just screwing up that badly? No, hold on. I don't make rules mistakes, obviously. That was just... Okay, think of it like Goku's weighted clothing, right? I was handicapping myself a little bit so that when the time came, we could dramatically throw it aside and then do a Kaioken. I haven't seen Dragon Ball Z since I was 12, and I don't remember any of the things about it. I'm pretty sure that was a Dragon Ball Z word I just said. It's corrected. We have a starting cloud this game. We're going to be rolling with the same rules, the same Southern Winds modifications that we were using in the last game. No potatoes, no wheat. They get an extra play, because I think that was a pretty decent level of difficulty. It was a close loss. That's really what I'm looking for. Except this time it's going to be a close victory, obviously. So, we have our starting conditions here. As you might imagine, the cows are going to change up some of the action systems. You can see there are some new cards in our hand and stuff. And I think we should figure it all out by just getting right in here. I have read through the rules. I sort of kind of understood them. And we'll worry about exactly how they work when it's our turn. Real quick, though. First, the southern winds have to go and distribute some rain. So, 2 drops in tile 3. And then 2 votes for the rain. We should probably talk real quick about what all our plants are here. So we've got some standard grass. Both of the top plants, both of the top fields are just normal grass. Here we have that cactus that doesn't like to be watered too much. Once again, the coffee. It's a little bit of cotton. And here we have a tree that is climate sensitive. It is only scoreable if the climate meter gets all the way to the top. I don't know how likely that is, frankly. I have no idea. But 15 is a lot of points, right? Alright, so Southern Winds have had their go. Now it's our turn. So, a new type of action card has been added. We are now drawing 9 cards per turn. Let's talk about this new kind of action card. I did not grab here. Let's grab one of these reference cards that I forgot to grab earlier. So, when you play Cow, you get to either do a Nature's Call or a Time Heals. Nature's Call causes you to place 2 methane in a cloud at the cow's location or adjacent, or to create a new cloud with 1 methane in it, and then create a fertilizer token at the cow's location, and then even the cow can't stand the smell and is forced to flee. These fertilizer tokens, you can see here, I believe they reduce the number of water droplets that are necessary for the plants to grow. Hold on, they're definitely explained in the main rulebook. Yeah, I just zoomed right past it. During harvest, all scoring values on a tile with fertilizer are increased by 1 victory point. Okay, that's what it is. Well, that seems fairly significant. And then the other cow action is move all the methane from a cloud you control, by which they mean a cloud where you have any drops in it, into your personal reserve. And then a cow runs over to that tile because they're like, hey, it doesn't smell so bad over here. And then, of course, they immediately ruin that. Now, the methane does a couple of things. When you have methane in your personal supply, you can see at the bottom there, you can spend methane to increase the amount that your rain actions rain, and you can also spend methane to not have to play cards. In any situation where you would have to spend more than one card, you can spend 2 methane instead of one of the cards. So what's on the back of this? What's on the back of this is climate information. You know what? We're going to grab another one of these cards so we can have both sides open in front of us. So there is a new climate event phase in between actions and weather, I think? I swear to you, I read this, but also, I got that hole in my brain. Yes, between the action and the weather phase, there's a climate event phase, where we count the total amount of methane in the clouds, adjust the climate track, and then some stuff happens. The climate leader is the player with the most methane in their personal reserve, and they make decisions during the climate event phase. And if you manage to keep the climate balanced in the middle here, the climate leader just earns points every turn. So I guess that's the idea, although obviously it might be beneficial for us to just throw caution to the wind and get this tree going. So. Oh, I didn't, No, never mind. I totally did place the votes already. So we need to figure out what the heck we want to do. It's also worth noting, Harvest is not going to be too hard to set up this game. Might be worth trying to get an early harvest off. Although, I have to say, our drops are not very well positioned for such a thing. Oh, also, this is actually totally... That's a shame. That's a lot of points. We might want to do something about that. Maybe we should wind. Maybe we should wind into that. Because I don't know that it's going to help us to put down drops over here. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to... I'm going to start with a frost. We're going to light cloud on the cotton, I think. And then, what do we want to vote for? I'm thinking I'm going to frost and then wind. So we can't double up on the votes. Those things are on opposite sides of the wheel. You know what? I'm not going to vote. I'm just going to burn one of the harvest dice for 2 turns, or for 2 points. And then we will play 2 wind cards. And let's just blow this cloud into this cloud. We're going to ruin everything. So the methane does count as a droplet for the purpose of increasing, or for the purpose of affecting cloud capacity. Methane will push a cloud over the thundercloud threshold. It will also push it over the rain threshold, but methane never goes onto the field tiles. So when we get a situation where methane would rain out of a cloud, we'll go and make sure we're handling the rules for that correctly. So that was a wind action, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'm thinking about just pulling the other harvest die and getting the points. We could start fighting on the rain. The Southern Winds deck just played its double rain card, so it's not impossible that it could come up again, right, if we get an early reshuffle. But we might actually be able to catch up on this. I'm going to take the harvest die. We're gonna eat up these early points. Alright, and then that is me, so Southern Winds time. Hey, good thing I did that. Alright, so that's a sun vote plus a reduction in the harvest die. And also water droplet going into the cloud in field 6. How inconvenient. That does not make it a thundercloud. How dare you? Alright, so we have double rain, double graze, double sun. As things stand right now, the rain is going to go off and it's going to ruin this, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Blue's not going to pull ahead of us on that one. We might want to sun this just to make sure we lock in the higher value. Plus, sunning this does turn it into a thundercloud, so it'll drop. I think I like that. Let's do sun. So we'll go here, and then we will. I'm gonna vote sun. I think we can make that happen. And then, so we do have this cow right here. Place 2 methane in a cloud at a cow's location or adjacent to it, and also a fertilizer. It doesn't feel worth it to execute a graze action just to pull 1 methane. So probably we don't want to do that. We do, I suppose, have the option, we have enough cards in hand, that we could just force this to be whatever we want it to be. We could also just Sun again. I don't really like Sun again. We could Frost. We could just 4-card force a Frost. I'm just thinking, I kind of want to get another vote on Sun, but I don't know that we get a lot of value out of actually playing Sun in this situation. So maybe like we Frost this location. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play... That's a Frost. And this is a Frost. Now some of the rules for a cloud with just methane in it are a little strange. Like, it counts as a cloud. This cloud totally exists, but we could just play Frost to put a presence into it, to put a rain into it. Even though ordinarily you can't do that in a tile with a cloud. Like, as long as there's no player drops in the cloud, it sort of doesn't count as being there. Oh, also, I should mark this with the bolt, since it's at 4 things now. I don't know. The rules are weird. I'm gonna vote Sun off of that Frost. And then it is the Wind's turn. And the Wind goes for a reshuffle. Okay, pull up one of my discs, will you? No, in fact you will not. There is no way to do that. So this is a situation where it should earn a point, right? If there are no valid targets, do nothing on the fields, and yeah, get a point. Okay. And then vote Winter. Or vote Frost, rather. Not a big deal. Alright, then I think we pass. I don't think it's worth taking a single graze action. So we pass. Wind gets another reshuffle. And a Wind vote. Okay, that's not a big deal. Is this a shared droplet? No, this is a purely blue cloud. Well, there's only one legal target. So it moves north, it moves southeast. Interesting. And then 1 vote Wind. Alright, so that's the end of the first action phase. Now we move to the climate phase. So we count up, there is 3 total methane. And so I believe... let's make sure we're doing this. Alright, count the total number of methane in clouds, adjust the climate track by the shown number and direction of spaces. So it goes down 2? Yes, down 2. So we are out of that temperate zone. It's getting colder. The cows are not outputting enough. Then determine the climate leader. The climate leader is the player with the most personal methane. In case multiple players are tied, first player picks the climate leader among the tied players. Usually in the solo game, that's us. But let's take a quick note here. There is a page on the Southern Winds mode. Let's just make sure. Climate event phase. Okay. The neutral player may be the player with the most methane. Okay, so no special rules. I would assume we get to choose, just as we get to break ties on weather and stuff. So, okay, I'm the climate leader, I've decided. How does that work? Depending on where the climate marker ended up, perform an event. Every effect is mandatory if possible. If the climate is frozen or cold, climate leader must add 1 methane from the supply to an existing cloud of their choice, and add 1 of their own droplets to an existing cloud of their choice. None of this stuff is relevant. Okay, that doesn't seem so bad. So, a methane to an existing cloud. Where is this going to matter? I guess the answer is nowhere? I'm gonna put it... So hold on. What exactly happens to methane when it rains? Because this is going to affect our decision here quite a bit, right? Where's that? There's definitely a bit about... Okay, it's in here, I think. Alright. Methane cannot be willingly rained out of a cloud. If the entire cloud pours, immediately create a new non-thunder cloud and place one methane from the previous cloud into the new one, returning the rest to the supply. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I don't know that it creates a clear incentive for us, though. Is it helpful to have methane near the cow? No, not really. I guess it's useful to have methane stacked up in a cloud where we have some stuff, and that way we can collect it more easily. Alright, and then I get to place one of my droplets... Hold on, I took a reference card for this. Add one methane whiff from the supply of the cloud, then add one own droplet on a tile. Just any tile? I mean, that seems pretty useful. Do I want to... I mean, all I really want to do here is spoil things, and I've already done that, I think. I guess we can get closer to controlling this coffee. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Okay, is that the whole phase? Sorry about the uncertainty. Yep, that's the end. Okay. So, after that is weather time. So obviously, sun and rain are my two actions here. First we do sun, so you double up, and double up. Then I get to double my tokens in a thing. Let's double our tokens here. Hold on. It's not... For some reason, it's not going in the cloud. I wonder if this is a weird issue with the cloud being over top of... So this is supposed to be in this cloud. Had a weird issue with me picking stuff up and knocking things out of the cloud. Okay. So yeah, I doubled there, because doubling here doesn't really accomplish anything. We're already on the lead. And then that is a voting win for me. And then blue also receives a voting win. And we do rain. I am pretty pleased with the rain, I think. So let's see. This happens, and we create a new non-thunder cloud for this methane. Same deal over here. But we lose one of the methane, right? We recreate a new cloud with only one of the existing methane. And then... Okay, so... Let me move these over so they're a little bit more visible with the cloud in place. That does set this to the growing state. Also, this one. I do wish I'd gotten a harvest off on the first turn. That would have been nice. We would have had to push really, really hard, though. Alright, so harvest phase, no harvest. Then we got our cleanup phase. Draw ourselves 9 new cards, and I guess it's just time to go. I should probably make sure we're doing the same thing over here. So yeah, this totally works for us, right? In the overwatered state, the cactus is 2/2, so this is actually pretty fantastic. Alright, southern winds, go. Uh-oh, cow tile. Well, that's hard to interpret. What is the meaning of this cow tile? Or this cow card, rather. Okay. Southern winds, graze actions. 2 types of graze action it may take, followed by 1 or 2 votes. So wait, which one is this? This is one where the fertilizer is happening. We're placing pollution, or placing methane, and then roll the die. Place 2 methane in a cloud, creating it if required, on the tile closest to the cow, based on the die roll, either the cow's current location or the closest tile adjacent to it. Wait, what does that have to do with the... I guess there are, there are multiple tiles that are close to the cow. That's not one of them, though. I guess it just means on this side? Hold on, what does that have to do with the die roll? On the tile closest to the cow. The closest tile adjacent to the cow that is... The tile adjacent to the cow that is closest to where the die roll landed, I guess? Which, in our case, would be here, because this was the die target. So I should point out that the rules document, in case it's not clear, the rules document is like all of the cow expansion stuff is pretty early, which is why you're seeing just like plain-ass HTML tables and stuff. So probably a lot of this wording will get tightened up. Alright, then place a fertilizer token in the cow's location, then roll and move the cow to the closest adjacent tile to its current location. Alright, fine. So we got a fertilizer here, which is just lovely news. And then the cow moves this way. The cow got hung up a little bit on the sky, Bessie in the sky with diamonds. Okay, and then... Is that vote for the space that has the least votes? The player will do 1 or both of the following votes. Harvest, if possible. Vote on whichever weather has fewest votes. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Well, it is in fact possible to set the harvest even closer. And then tiebreaker is closest to the beginning of the season wheel, right? Or the weather wheel, rather. It seems like a pretty okay outcome for them. Alright, I think I would like to graze. I want to get... Oh, right, we have to have a drop in the cloud. Well, I mean, we can make that happen. So let's go Frost. So we're allowed to use Frost to drop a token into a cloud that has into a cloud that exists already, as long as it only has methane in it. And then, do I want to graze now, or do I want to wait until our next action? I mean, the cow might move if I wait. Obviously, I have some strong feelings about getting all that methane. I guess actually it doesn't matter where the cow is. You know what? We'll hold off. We'll play a different action now. Oh, also, I should probably vote. Let's do a Frost vote with our Frost card. We'll make sure that the harvest happens. We got plenty of time on that one. Honestly, I might just Frost again. I'm gonna Frost again. We're just gonna make more clouds. And I mean, there's no reason for me to start a new cloud if I can just hang out with this methane, right? Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, and then that was winter. I'm just gonna frost vote again. I think that's reasonable. Let's try to win some of these votes. Alright, the wind moves a cloud that it shares with me. No, it doesn't. Instead, it gains 1 point. And then votes twice for wind, which is kind of an annoying thing for it to do. Alright, so I'm gonna play graze. Move all methane from a cloud you control to your personal reserve, then move the cow to that tile. In case you're wondering why it often says a cow, It's at different player counts. There are different numbers of cows. It's hard to pull. I guess the smart thing to do would be to just have the methane rain through. Wow. One of those methanes rained clear through the table and into the infinite void beyond. This is my personal methane supply now. Thank you very much. And the cow comes over here because he's like, hey, who's stealing all my methane? I worked really hard on that. He's in investigation mode right now. That was our first action. Do we vote? Or am I required to harvest? Is that... Hold on. Where are you? New action. Alright, when you take a grazing action, choose one of these two options. After the grazing action, you must vote harvest by decreasing one of the harvest dice if possible. If it is not, you may vote for any other option instead. That seems pretty powerful. It is, in fact, possible to decrease this, and so we shall. 2 points for me, and also we have guaranteed a harvest. A harvest that I think is quite favorable to us, provided that we actually get to it without causing too much more trouble. So, to that end, I should probably try to make it more likely that we will succeed at this. I do wish that we had some suns. That would be very helpful. Do we want a rain? Do we want a wind? It's pretty easy to set up a wind here. Although, honestly, what do I do with a wind here? How is it helpful for there to be one? Also, this isn't supposed to be a thundercloud. The thing is, I don't really want to drop more drops here. We don't need to push east into this cloud. We got that under control for the moment. We could cow action again, too. I mean, it would be expensive, but we could do it. Yeah, I just don't think, just don't necessarily think rain and wind are all that good. I'm gonna go ahead and wind. We'll double tap the wind. We'll push this cloud up to here. Maybe we can score both of the grasses, if we really put our minds to it. And then I don't think it's valuable to vote wind. I'm gonna put up a vote for rain, actually. Start building on the building toward next turn's votes. Alright, and that was our turn, so now southern winds. That's a vote for rain, and also a harvest thing, which doesn't happen. And the placement of a drop on tile 6. Uh-oh. Well, that's no good. So now it's my turn. I was going to pass, but I guess not. I guess now we're going to frost here. And then we're going to vote frost, I guess. Do I want to vote sun? I'm going to vote frost. I'm going to try to secure this a little bit. And then we're going to play rain. And I'm totally going to just rain this right through and reclaim this tile. And then we can rain elsewhere. How helpful is it to do so? Because we don't have to. Any place we don't rain, it's easy enough to use a sun to generate more water. I think I'm not going to rain anywhere else. I think it's just that one. And then we're going to vote rain. Alright, southern winds. Damn it. Double rain vote. Also, placing 2 droplets on tile 5. Probably not a big deal, actually. And then, obviously, we pass. And one more card. it's a wind vote. And that is a cloud with only your drops in it moves, which cannot happen, so you get a point. Okay, that could have gone worse. So now we move to the climate step. There is only 2 methane up here, so 1, 2, 3. Apparently we've really been doing a number on the climate. You know, it's my fault. I'm hoarding all of the greenhouse gases. Alright, so what happens now? Add 1 methane whiff from the supply to a cloud twice, and then add 1 own droplet to a cloud and add 1 own droplet to a tile. That's actually, like, real good news. It rules to be the climate leader. So the methane whiffs have to go to existing clouds, right? Let me verify that. Yes, to an existing cloud of their choice. Well, I mean, here, I guess? And then, trying to think. I guess, because I think we're going to put, one of our own drops here. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. I was going to say we'll put one of our own drops here, and that's how we'll get that to 4, so it rains out. But actually, we're going to process frost and then rain, so all the clouds are going to rain out no matter what we do. In which case, I guess, let's put the methane here, because otherwise it will just be deleted wherever we put it. And then I have to add 1 of my own droplets to a cloud and to a tile. I'm going to go this tile and this cloud? Yeah. And I guess the iconography for that is pretty clear. We don't necessarily need to keep going back to the rules for that. Okay, so that's done, and then it is weather time. So obviously this processes, and then I get to choose between these two. Gee, I wonder which one I will take. Alright, so let's do some weather. And then that's a vote victory for me, which is lovely. And then rain, which is a vote victory for blue. Hey, at least I'm keeping pace this time, right? So all of the thunderclouds rain out. Here we end up losing a methane. Here the methane reconstitutes after the rain. So this one's just gone. Okay. I think this harvest is gonna be real pleasant for us. I will say that the cows expansion is slightly harder to play on Tabletop Simulator because it's just a lot of there's clouds in places more frequently. Alright, so that's the weather phase all resolved. Now it's harvest time. So 4 points for red, 4 points for red. Let's take that up to 14 and pull these back. And these things are no longer growing. And then here it's 2 points blue, 2 points red. So we managed to dramatically overwater the cactus. In this field, there has... did I put this down wrong? Are we supposed to be sprouting? I don't remember. I'm trying to think. We did have summer weather happen at some point. I think this is supposed to be sprouting, not developed. And even if I'm wrong about that, you know, I'm wrong to my own detriment, so it's fine. 21 and 3. I feel less bad about it this way. We are totally killing it on this harvesting stuff, though. And then down here, nothing happens. Down here... So does the fertilizer increase score for both of us? I think it probably does. Boy, where was that? Okay. Fertilizer tokens increase the VP value for all players present by 1 VP for each sprouting and growing. Okay. So yeah, it's 6 for me and 2 for blue. Honestly, that was a pretty great harvest. So there's a fairly large gap between our scores now. And we're managing to keep parity on this track, so I have hope. I have high hopes here. And then it is cleanup time, right? That was the harvest, so roll that because there was a harvest this turn. This moves up to 3. We are 6 pips off of the next harvest. It is, I suppose, theoretically possible that it happens this round, but my suspicion is we're going to see another one at the end. Okay, and also I should get some cards. Alright, let's see what you got, Southern Winds. Why, it's cow time. So, yes I have. In case you are wondering, has he already forgotten what this says? My powers of forgetting things are really remarkable. Okay, roll the die, place 2 methane in a cloud, then a fertilizer token at the cow's location. Alright, tile 1. That's fine, right? It's fine for there to already be a... Yes, creating if required. So it is fine for there to already be a cloud there. So 2 additional methane. And then the cow moves randomly? Here we go. Move the cow to the closest adjacent tile in its current location. Closest adjacent tile to its current location. There you go. That's some English. I got there eventually. Okay, the cow goes chasing the methane this time. And we... Oh, sorry, it's not my turn yet. You reduce a harvest die and vote for Frost. Okay, now it's my turn to figure out what I'm gonna do. I mean, it seems like we're doing alright. I don't think I need to panic or anything. We are almost certainly going to have to just play Frost. You know what, actually, is this fertilizer supposed to still be here? Should it have been removed during the harvest? After harvest, remove every fertilizer token from tiles that have been harvested, yes. So, this one is gone. That doesn't really affect my decision making. Boy, well, it looks to me like I might overvalue Frost. It may be the case that I overvalue Frost, but I feel like we want to open with Frost a lot. So that's Frost. I mean, the cotton's a pretty reliable way to get points. Cactus with fertilizer on it, I suppose, is probably a better play, though. It's just, you know, the cactus is so finicky. It's so easy to disrupt. Alright, and then off of that... Am I going to play Sun? Because if so, we should probably just vote Sun twice. Yeah, let's go ahead and place the vote on Sun. And then I think we do in fact play Sun. So here's my 2 Sun cards. And this is maybe pushing it. This does get us to exactly the maximum threshold for the good score, though. And with that, I will also vote Sun. Alright. What do you got? You also like to vote Sun. and to reduce the value on a harvest die. So in case you're wondering how I'm deciding which die to harvest, the Southern Winds prefer to harvest the highest value die unless there is one that is on 1, in which case, you know, they would rather get the 2 points, which makes sense. And then distribute a thing into a cloud. The cloud in space 3. Okay, well that's inconvenient. They really got me. We do have an awful lot of grazing cards. Place 2 methane in a cloud at a cow's location or adjacent to it. I don't know that it's necessarily helpful for us to do that. I mean, I certainly don't want to rain. Sun doesn't seem all that good. Honestly, our hand is just a little unfortunate, I think. I guess we could just cook up some methane with it. Oh, okay. How about this? How about we do rain? And I'm going to spend, when taking the rain action, return 1 methane to rain up to 2 drops from up to 2 clouds. I am, in fact, going to burn a methane for that. We're going to rain twice here. And then that was a rain play. I'm gonna, boy. You know what? No, it's almost certainly going to be sun and wind that play here. I'm just going to start accumulating votes for later. And then I'm going to play wind and just get this the hell out of my way. We'll move it down to the baobab. So what's the better way to do this? Because we can use our remaining 2 methane to skip some of the plays here. I think I would rather just burn 4 cards on it, though. Right? So, like, that's a wind. And then this is also a wind. Because I do want to remain the climate leader. It seems great. And we will wind you guys this way. And also, I will... Well, I'm certainly not going to vote wind. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. Southern Winds, what do you got? A vote for rain and the placement of a drop on tile 3. Okay, you're killing me with this, but fine. And then a harvest. A lot of points coming from lowering the dice. Alright, I think at this point, I pass. We get 1 more turn from the Southern Wind for the round. It's 2 additional votes for wind. And then a shared cloud moves up and to the left. Shoot. That's a real bummer, man. That was fine where it was. Well, what are you going to do, I guess? I mean, I guess we're not even getting rain this turn. It's going to be sun and wind, so maybe it's not a big deal. Alright, let's move into the climate phase. So there's 5 methane. 5 methane is stay still. It does seem strange that I guess I'm not taking the graze action that adds methane to stuff. That's why we're keeping it so low. Alright, so I guess we just... Oh no, we still have to process this, though. It stays put, and then... more methane. I add a methane to an existing... cloud. Boy, what do I want to do here? I'm going to add methane to this one, and I'm kind of thinking I want to get the methane out of the clouds now. I'm gonna drop this here. So that does convert this to a thundercloud. Although the bolt has not appeared. There we go. We'll build it in manually. And then I gotta place a drop of my own on a tile and a drop of my own in a cloud. It doesn't say anywhere that they have to be different clouds, right? Or like that it can't be the cloud that is over the same tile. And the answer is no, it does not in fact say that anywhere. I'm going to go here, I think. With both of them. I'd like to score that coffee. I think that would be alright. Okay, so that's climate stuff. Now it is weather stuff. So obviously we're doing sun and wind. For this one, we get no winter. Blue doubles in all of blue's clouds. And then I double, and I'm going to double here, I guess, because the other cloud is largely immaterial, given that the points for this field are the same for first and second place. And then here we have a resounding victory, a really clean victory for blue. And the wind occurs. So I gotta remember, I have tokens getting blown upward. Huh. I wonder if the smart move is just to do this. And then our tokens get blown northward. Or one drop on each of these southern tiles gets blown northward. And that keeps us at 3 here. Yeah, it's fine. Alright, we don't have to resolve any of that stuff. We don't have to reroll the harvest dice. So we move into the final round. And I'd be lying if I said that I felt totally secure, but it sure does look like we have a lot of points. So I don't know. I'm not even going to try to formulate a plan this time. Let's just let the southern winds lead. Okay, so roll a die. Tile 3 gets 2 methane. And then the cow leaves a fertilizer right here. And then evacuates. Okay, in this direction. Which seems fine. It's not a big deal. And then you pull this for 2 points. And also vote for sun. Weather tile with the lowest votes, resolved by closeness to the beginning of the seasons. I keep saying seasons. It feels like winter, summer, autumn, and spring, kind of, sort of. Alright, now it is our turn. What do we need? This is going to resolve, but it's going to be terrible for everybody. This could use a little bit of a push. I'm going to sun that, I think. Yeah. So we'll just throw ourselves up to 4 on that, and we'll score it solo. So remember, because this is the final round, any weather tile, or any weather space that has at least 1 vote will happen. So we do have the sun activating the coffee here after we double up in it, double up in that cloud. Oh, I gotta vote. I'm gonna vote. Yeah, I'll vote sun. I think that's fine. And then frost, probably, right? Drop 2 frosts to make a cloud right here. Fingers crossed. I'm being a little optimistic here that we're going to be able to score 5 points without putting in a lot of effort. I think that would be lovely. And since that was a frost play, I'm actually going to vote sun. I'm a big fan of winning votes. Alright. southern winds. Also feeling very sunny today. And then place a drop into the cloud. So remember, in situations where there's no object in the place, you just count forward. Unfortunately. Alright, I'm a little bummed out about the sun votes. That is a crying shame. We could sun again, and maybe should, to try to get some control over the cotton down here. Yeah, you know what? I'm down with that. Let's sun. That'll make this a thundercloud. Although, honestly, it was going to be a thundercloud in a second anyway, because we are resolving frost this turn. And that's going to be a vote for sun, obviously. And then I sort of want to play sun again. Or maybe not sun. Maybe frost is better, but play frost and vote sun. You know what? It's not a bad idea, actually. I'm going to do that. So this is just going to be a very expensive frost. I have to spend 2 methane to ignore cards. Okay, well, I don't want to do that. I want to remain methaned. So we're just going to play these 4 cards. These 4 cards as 2 frost. And we're going to place into this cloud that doesn't have any player stuff in it. Okay. And like I said, we're going to vote sun off of that. So now we're back in control here. Let's see if we can maintain it. Alright. Wants me to pick up one of my drops. So count forward from the 5 means this one comes up, which is a real shame. That's the one drop I didn't want it to be. And then also vote frost, which doesn't seem terribly relevant. And then we pass. I think this is a situation for passing. So one final action from you has you voting rain twice. That is a shame. That actually does change the math. And then also putting down 2 drops on tile 1. Oh no. Well, there was a minute there where I thought we were going to get to score this unopposed. No such luck. Alright, so that's the end of the actions. Final climate phase. Right now, we have 9 climate. 9 methane. So that is 3 spaces up. 1, 2, 3. So this is just 1 methane in a cloud, and I don't think it matters where. Pretty sure it doesn't. And then one of my drops on a tile. So we're going to score this out already. This is a win for us. This cannot be made into a win by putting additional discs down. I guess I'm going to do it over here. Yeah. Alright, so that's that. Then, the weather. So first of all, because of the final round thing, this executes even though nobody is awarded a voting win for it. When this happens, we get our voting win, and sun is... Let's see, we duplicate you, and you, and then we're going to choose to duplicate... We're going to choose to double this one. So this will get us up above the 8-point threshold, which will cause the rain to come down. Hold on, I'm just making sure of something here. Yeah, just choose a cloud and double your presence. Okay. Alright, so that'll drop us down. Also, one of these methanes has to get removed. The cloud reforms overhead with a single methane in it. And also, it's the sun action, so we get real sprouting here, or real development, not just sprouting. I suppose as long as we're marking things, this is also live right now. As is the cactus, although the cactus is about to get a little bit ugly. Okay, I'm not even going to bother deleting these. We know they're immaterial at this point. And then rain, which awards blue a voting win. And is pretty straightforward. And again, we gotta move one of the methanes out. Methane rains out, and then one of them reforms. And then over here, same deal. Okay, all of these are just normal light clouds now. I think this is looking pretty okay for us. Provided I haven't screwed up the rules terribly anywhere. Okay, so there's no player tokens here. This one is developed, though. Which is awfully nice. Alright, so we recorded your voting win already, so now we move on to the harvest phase, where we can just get these thunderclouds the hell out of the way. Alright, up here, we're tied, so both players score second place, but also remember the fertilizer, so 4 points for you and 4 points for me. This one is live. This is 2 and 2. Sorry, 3 and 3, because fertilizer. Then here we have an unquestioned victory. 10 points for red. Truly horrific, the thing that was done here. And then here, 5 points for red, 1 point for blue. That feels like a pretty serious victory there. At the end of the game, methane's not worth anything, so I could have afforded to spend my methane during the last round, but I wanted to make sure that we got control of the climate leader thing. So, it's just always going to be the player, right? How does the Southern Wind actually get control of methane? Like, is there ever a situation where that's going to happen? Because I thought it said in here somewhere. Oh, there's an action that does that. Did we ever see that action? Ah, it's this one. No, we did not. We just never got the card that causes him to take methane. There are two place methane cards and 1 take methane card. Okay, well, that's actually fairly lucky for us then, that we were able to maintain Climate Leader that whole time and make a lot of very important decisions. And I do believe that that is a legitimate end of the game, right? There's no post-game anything after that harvest. So, yeah. Well, hey, look at that. That was not as close. That one didn't quite work out in the AI's favor. I'm trying to figure out, like, what happened? Why was this able to be such a blowout? I don't feel like I was playing that much better than last time. I mean, it might just be that the solo play mode is quite random on account of the card-based resolution. That is a thing that happens in some of these games. Or maybe I just, you know what? Maybe I'm just getting better at the game. Maybe I could just allow myself to believe that it's possible for me to develop skill at a thing. So, it is possible, it turns out, by the rules, to play the Honeybee expansion and the Cow expansion in solo at the same time. Obviously, that's a lot of moving parts. It gives you a lot of options and things to keep track of. And we are not, I think, going to attempt that today. I think this is where we're going to call it for today's board game excursion. Maybe I'll do another one tomorrow where we just like throw in all the bells and whistles. But for now, I think I think I'm good. I think I get this. I think it's a really cool game. And again, I would like to double emphasize, it's so damn pretty. Hopefully, this has been fun for y'all. Hopefully, you have learned learned a thing about a new game that is enticing to you. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Come back next time, maybe tomorrow, most likely Monday, for just, normal videos. And like I think I mentioned at the beginning of the series, I'm going to make an effort to do more solo board game stuff. I always really enjoy it when I do it, and somehow I have a hard time finding the time. Anyway, that's going to be it for us for today. Thanks for watching.